Hi guys, Marissa here and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be making a pom-pom wreath. For this wreath, you're going to need a foam wreath form. Mine is 14 inches wide, a small pair of scissors, some Christmas ornaments, some pliers. I made all of my pom-poms with some Pom Pom Makers that I bought off of Amazon. They're very easy to use and I will show you how to use those in a second. Then also I used red, green, and cream yarn and a hot glue gun, which I have over here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the caps from all of our Christmas ornaments. So I just use my pliers and I just pull them off and then I just throw away this little silver piece. So you don't need the top of it. And once you have that done, you can go ahead and put your pliers to the side because you won't need those anymore. So for my pom-poms, I made two different sizes. I made small ones and I made large ones. These are the two largest sizes in the kit. So you can just pick whichever size you want, but I just like to stick with the two sizes. So to actually make the pom-poms, you're going to need a lot of pom-poms, especially if you use the small size. So I'm just going to make one big one just to show you how to use the Pom Pom Makers. So the Pom Pom Makers are actually pretty cool because you just open them up and then wrap the yarn around. So the Pom Pom Maker is actually two pieces and you leave it together. So what you do is you want to have a small piece of string to wrap around your pom-pom once you have done. So you're just going to take your yarn. I always start on the inside. Keep your two pieces lined up. I secure one end with my thumb and then you just wrap it around. I just wrap it as tight as I can and get as many loops around the side that I can. So you just keep wrapping. And then you just push them all over. So once you get to the end, you just trim your thread off and you tuck your side in, and then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so once you have the other side done, you are going to snip in between those two pieces. So small scissors work best for this. You can use big scissors, but I found it to be more difficult. So you just want to cut all those loops that you just created all the way around. Make sure that you hold it shut because it will try to slip open. Then you're going to take your small piece of thread. My thread's probably almost 12 inches long, as long as it's thick enough to wrap all the way around the edge, and you're going to loop your thread inside the two pieces, right like this. Bring it all the way around, and then I just do a simple knot just to make sure that it stays together. Then you just go ahead and open up your Pom Pom Maker. Take the two pieces apart, and I'm going to knot my thread again, making sure that it's nice and tight because all of these little pieces of thread are going to be held together by this one piece of string. Then once you have that done, you're going ahead and just fluff up your pom-pom. Now you can see the shape. It kind of comes out a little uneven, and sometimes there's pieces like that just fall out, so I just go ahead and throw those away. Then as you can see, there's some long pieces, so all I do is I just take my scissors and I trim those up, and then like I have a section right here that's a little bit long, so I trim that up too. When I was watching videos on how to make pom-poms out of yarn, I saw how other people really had to trim them by using other techniques, and I just thought that was a really big waste of yarn. So I bought the Pom Pom Makers because I found that it was the easiest and the quickest and it had less waste. So Then after you're done with that, you're just gonna go ahead and trim your tail off. I try to trim mine the same length as the rest of my pieces of yarn because it counts as part of the pom-pom. So the longest part of this project is making the pom-poms. You wanna make a lot of pom-poms. I made all of these pom-poms. It takes you a little while, but it's totally worth it in the end. So total, I made 92 pom-poms in red, green, and cream. I don't know if I'm going to use this cream just because I'm going to use some cream Christmas ornaments, but I made some just in case I wanted to throw a couple in there. So after you have made all your pom-poms, you're going to take your wreath form. And what I like to start with is I like to start by laying out all my ornaments and deciding where they want to be, and I just use the little end where the topper was and I just push them right into my wreath form, so that way I remember where they are, and if I start to move it around, they're going to stick in there until I can get them secured with hot glue. So I actually bought these ornaments when they were on sale, and I got maroon and cream, and I like to use all the cream ones, the cream and silver. So I'm going to do a layer on the inside, a layer on the outside, and then a layer on the top as well. Because virtually you're working the outside, the inside, and the top of your wreath form. So once I get all those placed, then we can talk about the pom-poms. Alright, there you have it. I have placed all of my Christmas ornaments. So when I do the top row, I try to angle them either in or out, just so that way I can fit a pom-pom like in between, like where these two are. So then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start adding in my pom-poms. I like to add in big ones and then fill around the edges with some small. So since I'm using mainly two colors, I'm going to have probably a lot of this red green pattern, but in the end, whether you put red and green next to each other or whether you put green and green next to each other, it doesn't matter. So I just see what fits best, and then since I like this for my inside, I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue those in, as well as all my other ornaments, so that as I start to move and shift, it's not going to make any fall off. So for my ornaments, I have already created the holes, so I know where those are going to go. And I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and just put a little bit of glue right around the edge. And then stick it right back in the hole that I created. So now that all my Christmas ornaments have been glued on, I'm going to start with my pom-poms. So where we tied it off earlier is where I'm going to try to place some hot glue along. So this string right on the inside, right here. So I kind of push all the pieces of yarn to the side. I do a couple dollops of hot glue, and I just press it up against the foam, just like so. And once again, you're just going to repeat that all the way around. So I just find that string in the center, stick it right against the wreath form. So you guys can go ahead and see that there's a little bit of gaps in between where my ornaments are and where my pom-poms meet. That's okay, because those are going to be filled in whenever we start around the top. But I always wait and do the top last so that I can see where all those holes are and fill them all in. Now our inside and our outside is completely finished, and it is time to start putting pom-poms on the top. So the top is honestly probably the hardest place, just because personally I don't want a row of pom-poms around the outside and then a row around the inside and then a straight row around the top. If that's what you want, then I would definitely recommend making all big pom-poms, but I try to use the majority of the pom-poms on the top, my little ones, because they're really good to fit in gaps and to stagger, and I think it makes it look a lot more random than it does symmetrical, but you could just as easily make it look symmetrical. Like I said, customize it any way you want. This is just how I chose to do it. So I usually use small pom-poms, and this is where the pattern is going to break, because we have a nice pattern going around the inside and the outside, but this is where you're going to get your red by your red. So I usually like to take my pom-poms and work them around one of my Christmas ornaments first. And for the top, I just kind of glue as I go along and then fill in spots that I need to fill. This is also where you need to kind of be cautious as to how many pom-poms you have left, because if you have used all your yarn and you don't have any left over, then you aren't going to want to make sure that you kind of keep the pattern going even and that you don't run out of pom-poms halfway through the top, or that you don't run out of like your large or small pom-poms if you are trying to keep that little bit of pattern. So I'm just filling in right now with some small red and some small green, and I think I'm gonna fit a big green one in here, so it'll take up the whole space nice, and it'll be nice because there will be a strip of red and then a big green pom-pom. So I made about 10 large pom-poms in red and in green. So I have 10 red and 10 green pom-poms total, and of each one I have 5 left. So I just used one of my green. So now I know I want to put a little green one over here somewhere. And it's just kind of a matter of putting and placing, and this is where you could start to do a striped pattern of like a stripe of red, a stripe of green, a stripe of red, a stripe of green. Like I could use a big pom-pom here, but then put a small pom-pom in here. And I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put the big one on the inside. And then I'm going to put another small green one on the outside. I haven't really kept track of how many red and green little pom-poms I used, just because I started out with a bunch of the little ones, and as you can see I have quite a few left, so I definitely have plenty left for the top, but they do go very, very quickly. Just have to keep an eye out. So all the way around, just like before. And there's the finished product. So I have them all glued on, and this is what it looks like. So just to finish the back side of it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and I just cut it in half. And then I am going to take it and fold it in half, and I just stick it directly into my wreath form like so. And then I just take a little dollop of hot glue and I put it right where I put both of them into the wreath form, and I just bend it over. That way the ends of them don't come out from the weight of the wreath. And I add another little layer of hot glue over top, just to keep it nice and secure. And that is what I'm going to hang my wreath by. Just that little hook right there. And there you have it, the finished product. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, as I'm going to be posting at least 2 videos a week. and make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.